with us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lucy, will you call the roll?
Ginger Shea,
Here.
Sarah James,
Here.
Deanna Squires,
Here.
Frankie Schwartz,
Here.
Jeff Schneider,
Here.
Rich Barton,
Here.
and Carolyn Spraggs.
Here.
We've got a quorum.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion to amend or adopt the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Carolyn.
I'll second.
Thank you, Deanna. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. And motion passes. I am going to just mention the board norms. I have been very proud of this board sticking to those norms, even though we don't read them to each other at every meeting. I think you guys have all done a great job, and it makes my job as president a lot easier, so thank you. We'll have to break in the new members, though, just saying. And we're ready for recognitions, part one.
That's right, we have two parts of recognition tonight. So first part is we have some outstanding students. So I'm going to have our elementary principals come up and recognize the students that they have. And we'll start with Warrior Ridge, then go to Rebecca Boone, and then Dana Boone. And I'm going to stand over here and take pictures, and parents come on up and get pictures. And we'll make a big deal about this. Papers here. All right, thanks, Kelly.
Hi, thank you for allowing us to recognize our students tonight. I brought with me Miss Carly Hughes. This year we have something extra special to celebrate because both of these students were in her class last year, so I wanted to make sure she was a part of that. So I wanted to thank her. Two students tonight that we would like to recognize is for their achievement on the 4th grade math assessment that they took last year. My first student that I'd like to recognize is Miss Clara Holden. And Clara had the highest math score at Warrior Ridge Elementary. So we will be renaming the Warrior Ridge Elementary office after Miss Clara Holden.
Can you come up? We have things for you. Whoa, stand.
She's giving her phone.
Certificate for you too. Congratulations. Great job. And you've got to turn around because they have to take pictures. Sorry, we're going to stand right behind you.
That's fine. Parents, you want to go and have them move around? Good job.
And the second student that I would like to recognize is Mr. Kellen Owenby. Kellen had the highest ELA score, so we will be naming our Warrior Ridge Library after Kellen. Kellen and I embarrass each other a lot, so I'm going to just take a moment to share that he said in 1st grade this was his goal. And so in 3rd grade, when we talked about the math assessment, he said this was his goal. So his parents have promised him a new bat, and he's promised, just wanted to put that on the record. And he's promised me hitting lessons.
Can I shake your hand, sir? That is a great job. We're proud of you. Here's a certificate. Okay. Everybody good? Okay. You guys want up here?
Parents.
Get a picture? Grandparents, parents, everybody? That's okay. Sorry.
Nice job.
Whole family, there we go.
Way to go.
Yay.
right, Rebecca Boone has two amazing students to recognize. Our first student scored the highest on the math portion of the math test last year in 4th grade. That is Cora Key. Cora is an outstanding student at Rebecca Boone, works so hard. She's also one of our student ambassadors. She does lots of things around the building.
Come shake my hand, yeah. Great job. Great job. All right.
Want family come in?
Yeah, you guys want a picture?
Got a lot of family coming. All right, our next student scored the highest on the ELA portion of the 4th grade math test last year, Sophie Miltenberg.
Good job. Congratulations.
All right, family.
And I'm Dr. Brown from Daniel Boone, and we want to celebrate, we're going to do 2 in 1. I'm going to celebrate Miss Emma Proctor, and this lady has the highest MAP scores in both ELA and math out of all of Daniel Boone. So.
That's extra special to get both of these at once.
And extra special, her teacher, Miss Robota, is here today.
Celebrate with her. That's awesome.
Also right next to you.
Right.
Right here.
All right.
Congratulations.
Oh, yes. Yeah, she's here.
Okay, all right, our next recognition is really an amazing feat. I mean, amazing. We couldn't be more proud. A perfect score on the ACT. That doesn't happen very often. So you've heard the top 1%. To get the ACT, it's the top 0.2 of that percent. So really amazing. Top, best, really amazing. I'm saying the wrong words here. It's so blown away by words. But congratulations to Alice Briggs on her amazing accomplishment. So.
Not a lot of our students take the SAT, which is the other college entrance exam, but Miss Alice also scored very highly on the SAT, and she's a National Merit Scholar finalist. So I thought I should say that too. She's also a former student of mine. Here, let's turn around and not be so silly. Parents, you want to come up? Don't give me money, take a picture on your phone? Yeah. Sure. All right.
That was a great place.
Yes, she was in the music. Well, I zoomed in too much. There we go.
couple.
Okay, our last recognition is Amy Horton is going to hear from the Warren County Literacy Group. And you might know them from the bookcase projects they've done and little free libraries, Dolly Parton Imagination Library. The Warren County Literacy's done a lot for our community, and so recognize them. I think Amy has something to say here.
Thank you for having me. I am going to read a letter, and I will also say that the same letter was read at the Blue and Gold Foundation for Wright City recently. So Warren County Literacy is a nonprofit organization that since 2011 has served its mission to help improve early literacy in our community. The Bookcase Project, which Greg mentioned, served as Warren County Literacy's cornerstone program from 2011 until we retired the program in 2023. In that time, we presented 820 bookcases and 20,500 books through the Bookcase Project to children in our community, advancing from Head Start and Parents as Teachers programs into kindergarten. We also distributed another 17,500 children's books at various community events over the years. Through our Books from Birth program, Warren County Literacy brought Dolly Parton's Imagination Library to our community, enrolling 827 children in the book gifting program from March 2020 to November 2023. When the state of Missouri began funding Dolly Parton's Imagination Library statewide, Warren County Literacy's role with that program ended. In January 2025, the Warren County Literacy Board of Directors voted to begin taking the necessary steps to dissolve the organization, and the decision was made to distribute the organization's remaining funds evenly between Wise Foundation, benefiting Warrenton schools, and Blue and Gold Foundation, benefiting Wright City schools, to help support programs where improving literacy is the goal. We worked with Dr. Greg Klingensmith, Warren County R3 School District Superintendent, to obtain input from educators across the Warren County R3 School District and identify literacy-focused classroom programs that would benefit from our support. And I have an enclosed spreadsheet that details that. We make this donation to the Wise Foundation with the understanding that these funds will be distributed accordingly to these or equivalent programs at the district's discretion where improving early literacy is the goal. This is an emotional paragraph. Warren County Literacy is grateful to the community of volunteers and supporters who have helped us carry out our mission. For nearly a decade and a half, it has been our passion and pleasure to help improve early literacy in Warren County, and it is now time for us to turn the page. Sincerely, Warren County Literacy Board of Directors, Rich Loggeman, President, myself, Amy Horton, Vice President, Penny McLean, Treasurer, Heidi Barton, Secretary, and Danielle Davis, Member at Large. And with that, I present to the Wise Foundation a check for $12,777.83. Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
We're happy to support the community.
I've worked for Rich Loggeman for a few years
Yeah.
when I was at Wright City, so I'm gonna give that to you.
Well, that concludes our first part of the recognition, so you're all welcome to stay for the entire meeting if you'd like, but if you'd like to leave now, would be a good time to do that.
That part was super fun. Can't we just keep going with stuff like that? Come on.
Thank you all for coming and keep up the great work.
I enjoyed all of it.
See you, brother. Congratulations.
See Josh here back
Thank
there?
you.
Okay, Lucy, do we have any patron comments? Okay, thank you. So next on the agenda is superintendent reports, and we're going to start out with the gifted program evaluation.
That's right, so we have Dr. Emily Turner back with us this month to go over gifted.
Hello again.
Hi.
Long time no see. I am honored tonight to be here to present a little bit about our Discovery Gifted program. And I know we have a list of presentations, so I will keep this as short and sweet as possible. So we're very lucky to have an elementary and secondary level gifted program that come up with the most creative and wonderful activities, field trips, learning experiences for our students. And so a little bit about that, Jared Hendricks is our elementary discovery teacher, Chad Berry is our secondary discovery teacher, where they spend their time, as a teacher, creating these learning experiences that you'll see some of up here. All of my slides are just pictures of the kids because they were too good not to just share. I could say all the words. So, but they're working on creative thinking, original, unique ideas. Oftentimes they're just provided with raw materials to create something with, given the lesson that they're working on. They're working on all of those skills plus communication, presentations, personal growth, all of those things in all of the levels. We are very fortunate to have about 70 students, 75 students at the elementary level, and about 85 students at the secondary level. And we also have Holy Rosary students that attend those classes as well. So they are very much involved in all of these activities. Our secondary discovery students at the middle school have been able to take field trips, go on college visits, and start to kind of plan for that part of their life. So amazing experiences that they have. Some goals that we have for the Discovery program is, obviously we are working with building and expanding the program as much as we can, and working on streamlining our screening evaluation process. Our instructors, Mr. Hendricks, Mr. Berry, are working on a plan for the next few years on their professional development and growth and bringing new ideas into the program. So we're very excited about what's ahead for them. And so they have done a great job over the last couple of years of building that program, offering unique learning experiences where the students really get to drive that learning and instruction that are happening. So, any questions about Discovery?
At the middle school, is it a pullout right now? I was confused about that when I looked at the rest of your report, because it was a class for a while, do you know?
They, right now, it's a 1 day, it's not a pullout, it's 1 day a week. Yeah, yeah.
The following school year,
25,
27, 28, we're going to hourly.
Okay, going back to hourly. It's been done several different ways over the years, and I just wasn't sure where we were. Thank you. Anybody else have a question for Dr. Turner? Thank you for coming back.
Thank you.
Okay, and then next we're ready for building principles, and I think Dana Boone is up first.
Well, we'll go with Rebecca Boone. We'll a little different order
Okay,
here.
that's
So Rebecca Boone, go first.
All right, we're going to do some celebrating. First, I want to celebrate our Teacher of the Year. That was Ms. Sparks. Ms. Sparks is retiring, and so the next person will have some big shoes to fill. I want to point out that Ms. Sparks brought in the therapy dogs. We have Raider and we have Boone. That has been outstanding. Also, she's brought in our ambassador program. Both the kiddos over here tonight are part of that. They exhibit and get to utilize their leadership skills. It's been outstanding. She's also brought in Safety Patrol, which if you are a 5th grader and you're on safety patrol, you are top dog. So that's been amazing. They also pack the Friday backpacks every Friday for the whole district. So, yeah, for the whole district, just above and beyond. So I just want to continue to recognize and thank her for everything she does. Our support staff person of the year is new to the building this year. That's Rodney Foltz. He's our daytime custodian. I don't think we've ever had as many nominations for a person as we've had for Rodney this year. He is outstanding. I had a UMSL professor come last month to work with a teacher, and she said, I'm in buildings all of the time, and especially this time of year, and your building and your floors are cleaner than I have. I mean, it shines all the time. In any of his free time, he is constantly buffing or cleaning, building relationships with kids. Outstanding. And on Tuesday, we got a call at 10 o'clock, and Dr. Clinton Smith and Dr. Ross came over, and he was recognized as the district support person of the year. So
fantastic.
huge kudos to him. What an impact in the building. It takes every last person in that building to do it, and so I appreciate him. Also want to recognize a couple of new additions. Officer Scott Taylor, he joined us this year as SRO through Truesdale, and he was named the Chamber of Commerce Emergency Services Person of the Year this year. So the relationships he builds with kids and families is outstanding. So lots of great stuff. I think I got a picture there of, in that bottom left corner, that's some of the kiddos that go pack the Friday backpacks with Ms. Sparks every week. That is ongoing. And then our goals, we strive every year for 75% of students on a reading level or year's worth of growth. At the winter assessment, we're at 68%, and we really feel like we're going to hit the 75. We think we're going to get it. The next one there, accurately enter and use all assessment data in Canvas. That's met. We are doing that. Next, RBE will pass out 175 positive office referrals. If you follow our Facebook page, I don't know, there's at least 10 to 20 to 30 kids recognized every day. We will hit that. That will be met. And then our 90-90 attendance, I have my fingers crossed on this. Before we hit, when we were in January, we were right at our goal of 85%. And then we had about 6 weeks of just everybody getting sick, and we tanked. But we're working our way back up. We're now at 82%. We're quite a bit ahead of where we were at this time last year. So I think there is a chance we claw back up there and get to it. Scott Taylor has been excellent in helping me establish relationships with families, getting kids to come to school as well, and also the city of Truesdale. So kudos to them. And then goals for next year, we want to continue the CSIP goal is 75% of students on reading level or making a year's worth of growth. We left that on there. Even if we hit that, we want to continue moving forward. And then 99 attendance, if we hit the 85, obviously the goal is to continue to increase to get to the 90. And then we want to continue to try and raise the positive office referrals. Teachers keep rising to the occasion, and you know, if you ever stop by the building, you'll probably see a constant stream of kids coming in and being celebrated, which that positive has made a huge impact in the building. So that's something we'll continue to work on. Any questions? Thank you. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Dr. Patterson.
I tried to create a PowerPoint that would show all the great things that we're doing at Warrior Ridge. That also is giving us small time limit, so I will talk fast through my slide and not explain every picture for you. But just want to highlight some of the great things. So we did recognize our 2 students. We are very proud that we tried really hard over the last 3 years that I've been at Warrior Ridge to make student goals and setting goals within their learning a priority. And Kellen is just a prime example of how that worked out well for him. And Clara is such an excellent student. She's so inquisitive. She is this desire for learning, and I love that she's been a leader in our building, and that we get to celebrate her as well. So, our outstanding staff members this year, I couldn't do anything in the building without Erin Chandler by my side. She really is just there to keep me in line. She does a fantastic job and knows so much about our community, about our school, and about our district. She is just a wealth of knowledge. She does such a great job of working with our students, our staff. When students come in the morning, this happened again to me this morning. I offered to take a friend who wasn't ready to come to school to class, and she was like, I'm waiting for Miss Chandler. So she's at the door every morning greeting students, helping parents navigate the building. So we're very appreciative and honored to have her as our support staff of the year. And then it goes without saying, Ms. Thomas is well deserving of our Teacher of the Year. She too received many nominations. She's a special education teacher at Warrior Ridge. And one of my favorite qualities about her is that she has done such a great job of building relationships with SPED teachers within our building, but also within other buildings. And they've built their own little tribe where they can reach out and support each other. And I think that's just great. It takes a great person to be able to build that collaboration. A few of our accomplishments that we have, we remain a gold level support for PBS. We have increased our math scores, ELA scores, and science in 5th grade. That was all three. Usually we kind of go peaks and valleys, but all three were higher last year, so we're pretty proud about that. We did expand our playground to add Gaga pits. I did play today. Don't laugh at the pictures, because I hear there's some out there on our Facebook page. But thanks to PTO's partnership and their desire to add more opportunities for collaboration for our students, we have future plans to expand our playground at Warrior Ridge to make it more of a community place as well, something unique that would offer a place for students to go on the weekend or after school. We do have school-wide monthly incentives. We have tried really hard to not just make those recess with the principal, but we've tried to bring in community organizations. So Rural King has donated popcorn for us. We have the Kiwanis that comes in monthly to celebrate our kids' attendance. Our firefighters have brought in pizza for the class who has the highest attendance rate. They've done that every quarter for us. Often they're able to join us for that celebration. We also have done great with our incentives, community partnerships. We are very fortunate to be very supported by Subway for our staff initiatives and our donations. We worked with Oak Point. They delivered bookmarks to our students that they created, and our kindergartners were just in awe and asked them lots of questions. So the 6 ladies that came to deliver those, we were very fortunate to have them choose our school. We also worked very much with Moolicious this year. That was something new for us. I'll give Miss Sarah James a shout out on that. She always has some fun, creative idea at the beginning of the year. They let our students design an ice cream. They made the ice cream and then held a contest for us and then honored the student by bringing her whole class ice cream. So that was very exciting for them. And then we have just lots of additional support by community that comes in throughout the school year. Our goals this year, we are doing great on our reading goal. We do have a 70% for our reading goal. The rigor went up this year, and we started off after our first semester of taking it in August at 56%. In December, we jumped to 80%. So that just proves the initiatives and the dedication of the teachers. We pulled in all of the resources we had, and we worked really well with our literacy coach, Dara, who's fantastic, to improve those scores. Our math right now, we are at 60%. Math is a new goal for us, so it's no surprise that we're slightly behind where we want to be able to achieve that goal. This year, we've implemented some new resources. There's no doubt in my mind we'll get there by the end of the year, but we are just slightly behind right now. We have met our behavior goal of decreasing our behavior referrals across all areas, including the bus, and we've met our attendance goal of remaining at 80% of our students being there. And then just to share some fun pictures of our kids, our students love the dress-up days. They absolutely love coming in and having fun with their peers. You can see in the middle there are some additions to our recess. We find ways for students to be involved through authors visits, book blasts, spirits weeks. We just hosted an abilities week. Our goal is to be as inclusive as possible within everything we plan for at Warrior Ridge. We have recess engagement, and then as always, we're looking for opportunities to continue those leadership roles at Warrior Ridge. The staff is incredible. I only had 2 new staff members this year, which I think says a lot about the culture that we've been at Warrior Ridge. We do have a staff of about 75, so to only have to replace 2 of them was pretty remarkable. I anticipate that there will be 2 just retirements next year as well. My staff is pretty incredible. What they love most is those Tuesday dress-up days. We don't tell the kids what we're dressing up as. I think we have more fun sometimes than they do, and we try to use critical thinking skills to get them to figure out our goal, and then they love running up and telling me what they think we're dressed up as and how we all match. We try very hard to do monthly appreciation for our staff. We have community engagements that they are a part of, and our staff has really transformed the way we have data discussions this year, so I'm most proud of that. And then last but not least, our community has really stepped up and has always been so supportive of Warrior Ridge, but we really have such a great turnout when we have events like our Veterans Day. We've been able to do Facebook Live to broaden those who are unable to travel to us for those events. That's been great. We had many individuals into our building when it was RIF Week to read. And then we also partnered with the high school to have high school students come over. That's always one of the kids' favorite, mine too. Watching them sit in the little chairs is kind of fun. And then as always, our bingo night was a great success. And our First Bank Community Bank is coming in to partner with us again for that learning as well. Do you guys have any questions?
Thank you. Congratulations. Good job. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Patterson.
And Dr. Brown's here for Daniel Boone.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Okay, you get me today.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's great. It's not even
Yes,
okay. That's
yes.
phenomenal.
Well, thank you. That makes me feel so much
Are you
better.
going to say you're the proud assistant
I
principal
am.
of?
I am.
Because you know what Stacy would say if she were here.
I do. I've got it all. I practice. Normally we practice together, but I didn't get my practice partner today.
Uh-oh.
But I am Jody Brown, Dr. Jody Brown. I'm the proud assistant principal of Daniel Boone Elementary.
There we go.
And there's my friend Silas. He was one of our many Mark Twain Reader List participants this year. We have had a lot of kiddos participate in that program, not just over the summer, but continue that over the school, throughout the school year. And Mrs. Mueller does an amazing job in the library celebrating them and that love for reading. So together we can, there's our motto. I have some friends there working really hard on some critical thinking in 4th grade, and then off to the right, looks like some first graders practicing some reading fluency. I'm gonna jump into our academic goals. So Daniel Boone will develop a culture of success through that 75% attendance, or 75% of students reading at or making that year's growth. And at the end of first semester, we had 77% of students at Daniel Boone that had already made that year's growth. That's awesome. That's a big growth right there. And we had 62% on grade level at the end of first semester in January. So from last year's data in January to this year's January data, that's a 13% increase in a year. So we're making strides in the right direction. And we're trying to celebrate those kids, and we have implemented kind of what, to shadow what the other principals were saying, we're implementing some new assessment programs that I'm going to talk about here in a second that I think are getting us in that right direction. So we are on track to meet that goal. One of those things is we are doing, love this book. It's a tiny little quick read, but we've been doing this with our staff, the Meaningful Phonics and Word Study. These are, it goes hand in hand with the U-Fly Foundation. So it really talks about the rebuilding, building in the reviews, that spiral effect that we know is effective, the daily phonics lessons, making sure that we're making that connection between reading and writing. We're implementing very systematic phonics. Phonics is that key to building those strong readers in those lower levels so that we can see that growth later on, and making every activity very engaging and thought-provoking, those in-depth thinkers and problem solvers. So this book has been really fun. We've done some fun stuff with it at each faculty meeting, and we're doing it as a Daniel Boone family, so. Other professional development that we're doing is the science of reading. With our letters, we are across the elementary schools, we're working on that. So anybody that has not been trained is going through units 1 through 8, and then we're gonna continue next year. This is some, it teaches the skills of those mastery foundations of learning, really that phonics awareness, the fluency and all that. Our attendance goal, we are kind of like what Mr. Reeks was saying, we were rocking it in, I would say, December and January. It, you know, did a little bit of this, and we were at like, I don't know, 87, 88%, and something hit us in February. So we dropped down to like 85. We're creeping back up. We're at 86 point something. I'm gonna round up to 87. But we are making our way. And then another one of our goals is the academic dashboard, and making sure that we're keeping up with that data in our office and using that data in our data team meetings with our staff so that it drives our instruction. And that goal is met. Our compliment coins, much like the other schools, we have had these compliment coins since the beginning of Daniel Boone time. They're little Mario coins, but we have had to revamp them, and I have an amazing PBS team that works with me, and we, as you can see, my little friends there, they are earning, the regular coin is like the yellow one, the little Mario coin, and with the red one we pulled out obviously during Super Bowl time, and these are worth extra points. The class and the students and teachers determine on their own how much they want to make them. So they're for super special things. I think we have a green one there for March possibly. And this year I've talked Goldsmith into letting me develop our own special coins. So we've got the Brown Bucks and the Goldsmith Gold that are for super special occasions. So she let me make her into a Bitmoji. And we are on track to meet that goal. Our goal is to hit 10,000 compliment coins, just reinforcing that positive interaction between students and staff, and reinforcing that positive behavior, and letting them know that we notice. To date, we have 8,500. And another way we like to celebrate students, we are their biggest cheerleaders. And as you can tell, we got our little pom-poms out. We're doing a student shout out there, and we, teachers and staff, bus drivers, anybody can nominate a student for a shout out and celebrate anything they do, anything from being respectful and kind to jumping a reading level and going above and beyond as a leader, and just being good friends to each other. And then I want to celebrate the amazing people that I'm surrounded by every day and that I get to work with. And we want to celebrate the Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Tinnen. And then we have our support staff. We kind of have them both together there in the center. So Mrs. Tinnen, and then we have Mrs. Schneider. Mrs. Schneider is a paraprofessional at Daniel Boone Elementary. And that lady, she's our sped right hand. So she's amazing. And then I want to celebrate Mrs. Gentry and all the other teachers that get our staff of the month, and we nominate them for going above and beyond and really celebrating kids. So it's her and one of her students. And that's all I've got. Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for letting me brag on Daniel Boone.
Thank you, Dr. Brown.
All right, Dr. Quintana for the middle school.
Hello, good
How are you?
evening. I feel like this should get easier every year, but. And then I sit there and compare my board report to theirs. But mine's a little bit different, but middle school is that balance of well-being the whole student and the academic piece that we're constantly working on, trying to explain to teachers that the academic piece is important, but also we have to worry about that whole kid and the development of that whole student sense of belonging. So we started out, here is our academic growth. So over the time, since the time I've been at Blackhawk, we've seen a 20% increase in APR growth through re-implementing of PLCs, teachers working together, having that collaborative time. And if we continue that work with the PLCs, I believe that eventually we have the growth, but we'll see those status scores improve as well. Our academic goal was that each semester, 92% of the grades are passing, but also that students are showing that they have some level of proficiency of a standard, and we are at that for all 3 quarters right now. This year we've implemented Tier 2, 3 interventions. It's one of our committees, and so here's just some of the data. The referrals come in if students are missing school, a certain number of Fs in core classes, and then behaviors. So 6th grade had 16 referrals, 7th grade had 26, and 8th had 26. We implemented check-in, check-out with a teacher that they have a relationship with, that they have formed a bond with, and that teacher checks in with them. Then we've also implemented guided study classes where, with parent approval, those students that are struggling come out of their encore class and go into a guided study for a few weeks at a time, and we assess their progress to help them make up missing work. But again, the goal is that they are understanding the assignments and being able to show a level of proficiency. So we had 1 student graduate out from 7th grade, and then 8th grade we had 2 graduate out. We've asked all of our teachers to exempt non-essential assignments for kids that are behind, shorten the length of things to help students be successful. The goal is for them to show us they can do it, right, and that might look different for every kid. This program has resulted in 2 accepted SPED referrals for 6th grade and 1 for 8th grade. So the goal is to intervene so that we don't need a SPED referral, but if we show we're intervening and we're still not seeing progress, we've gotten those SPED referrals. Our math interventions this year, we added in math interventionists in 6th grade, and then we have 7th grade class, 2 7th grade classes and 2 8th grade classes. It's here are some highlights from 6th grade and 8th grade. So 69% of the students in the 6th grade math intervention smaller classes increased their scaled score on STAR. 8 students moved up levels on the STAR. 16 moved to meeting grade level expectations, and 1 student went from at-risk to grade level. That was 6th grade, and then 8th grade, 62% increased their scaled score, 4 moved up on the STAR test, and 6 moved to meeting grade level expectations. This is just 6th grade reading intervention. We have 6th grade classes, a full-time teacher that does that, and so this is her data showing the growth and proficiency. It's so small I can't read it. And then who grew benchmark levels, the growth through the benchmark levels. So the programming for those intervention math and reading have shown that students are growing in those classes, and we're going to continue that next year. So we're continuing to work on building relationships, inspiring success in all stakeholders, students, with families, with our staff. For students and families, we send the WOW postcards home. We have weekly WOW winners. We do the quarterly grade level awards and quarterly celebrations. We still have our house system, and then posting on Facebook and Instagram to engage the community in the positive narrative. We had an incoming 6th grade night. We have over 150 students pick a house for next year, so we really get a good turnout at that. This is our 2nd annual one. And then we had a trunk or treat this year. That was the most attended event we've had at Blackhawk, so we're going to continue that as well. For staff, we have our bucket where they add drops in the bucket to recognize each other, postcards from principals. We did a game and community building day this last PD day just to celebrate the hurrah, we're here, we made it, and spend some time with each other building those relationships. We had a cocoa cart this year, St. Pat's Day cart. We're doing spring barbecue potlucks, thanks to Ms. Tobin's idea. And perfect attendance recognition for staff. And then next year, looking to streamline it for staff so that we do a monthly like card or something to celebrate them. I have attendance there for some reason, but our goal was 75%, it should have been on the other side, I think. 75% of students had 90/90 attendance for first semester, similarly to what everybody said. We saw a decline with sickness, but as of here recently, we're right back at that 75%. So looking to maintain that and increase that. Here's some of our quarterly awards and our Warrior Spotlight winners. The teachers can fill out a postcard for any student. We mail them home and then we randomly select them to recognize them on a weekly basis. Here's the trunk or treat and then the cart going around where I have some ears on and staff really loved that. I'm just gonna dress up more. We had the Megan Meyer presentation was talked about. Tina Meyer came and talked about what happened to her daughter Megan and the effect of cyberbullying and told her story and then met with breakout groups and kids really, I heard from some parents that kids went home and were like, wow, we hear about these things happening but you don't know how real it is, and so the kids responded really well to that. We had Jeff Monsango come in and he did a presentation on choices and plays music so it gets the kids real engaged and they're kind of rocking out with him with glow sticks. But he talks about choices and every choice you make is really important and to, you know, not do drugs is really his overall message. He was at the Teen Drug Summit, which you'll see a little bit later, but we had him scheduled anyway and the kids really enjoyed that. Here's some of our incoming 6th grade night. We just had a great turnout, lots of families, lots of questions. We had leaders giving tours throughout the building. It was a really successful night. We were voted 2024 Reader's Choice Best School, so we lived it up and celebrated with selfie signs, and we just had like a party at school that day. It was really fun and awesome to be recognized for that. This was a Teen Drug Summit. We went in the fall, selected leaders from all grade levels, took them and talked about choices and the effect of drugs, and the kids made slogans. They came back and made slogans that we voted on and designed some signs to hang around the building. This is one of our clubs that really has maintained. Brick Box Club, they get to go and build Legos, and it's every week, and the kids enjoy it and make really cool stuff, and it's kept kids engaged and wanting to stay after school. So some of our goals for continued improvement, the continued math and reading interventions, adding more to our tier 2-3 interventions that we do, continuing our Facebook and Instagram presence with that positive narrative, recognizing more individual students on a weekly basis, at least each student once a year. Here, actually this week, we had 2 of our teachers go to the We Belong program. And they came back. It's a program that we'll be implementing for next year, and they are like, this is going to change Blackhawk. So they are so excited. We're so excited to roll it out. We meet tomorrow to discuss because we have to start implementing some dates, here soon. So that will help build leadership capacity in our kids, but also to a point where someone can say like, hey, that's not nice, or don't do that, things that you need at a middle school. So continuing just to promote a positive narrative that kids do love coming to school and have fun, but continuing to build positive relationships, inspiring success with everybody, and make it a place where everybody belongs. I will say, I didn't recognize my staff, but Miss Patterson was our Teacher of the Year, and she helps with all Tier 1 things, our houses. She is phenomenal, very deserving of it. And then Miss Lamora won our Support Staff of the Year. She greets the families that come in. She answers everybody's question. If she doesn't have an answer, she's finding it. So we're really glad to have them. And then the last thing I want to add is that for our house system that we are continuing, we are going to reach out to community partners and have them sponsor a house. So they'll be recognized at like events and everywhere. They'll be publicized, and then we'll have that community partner backing them for a couple of years. So we're working on that plan for next year. That's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
All right, we have our new incoming high school principal. Ms. Struckoff is here to talk to us about Warrenton High School.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Shelley Struckoff. I'm currently the assistant principal and the lucky person that gets to be the principal next year. I will tell you, the day after the board meeting, where it was approved for me, driving to school on Warrior Ridge there, as I came across, sun's kind of coming up, I look over at the building and I had this like overwhelming sense of pride, like teared up coming in. I thought, you know, that's mine.
Oh.
That's mine. So I'm super excited to be here. Nothing like jumping in with both feet, getting to do this a little bit early. But with that being said, I am going to go through first a couple slides. I'm just going to kind of highlight some of the goals that we had from this year and where we were. Like several of the other buildings, we wanted to make sure that we were using our common assessments and inputting that into Canvas, getting ready for our launch for the public to be able to see. And we have met that goal. Our teachers are inputting that data. I will say, looking towards next year, I want us in our PLCs to really utilize that data to start driving some decisions and making sure that we are hitting areas that we have deficits in. Our next goal was to have our high school staff attendance be at 95%. And I'll be darned, we were at 94.6. If you're a math person, we'll round that up. No. We're really close. And I think that looking into next year that we will continue to go in that forward progression. The last several years, we have continued to increase that attendance. I will tell you there are several things put in place for our staff to build culture and climate. Being new this year, I will tell you the one thing about Warrenton High School that I can sell, and sell well, is that it's a family. The staff there is a family. They love each other, they care, they come in, and they'll do what they need to do to make you feel welcome. And I was able to feel that and can share that. So I think that as we continue having staff of the week and all the things that we do, that we will continue to see that increase in our staff attendance. Our next goal was our fail rate. We had the goal of having less than 22% of our students each semester. We are currently sitting at 25% of F for our fail rate. For me, this is going to be a huge push. I want to see that improve for sure. I want all students to feel successful. In doing that this year, some of the things we started to implement and would like to continue going into next year is we've identified students who are failing 2 or more classes and work to pair them with a teacher in our building and have them meet twice a month and really build a relationship. And although they have not, I had someone email me just the other day, and I'm going to share. So the student started at like a 25%, and they're up to 58. I know that's not passing, but wow, that student is really getting in and digging in, and I really do feel like by the time we hit the end of the semester that we're going to start seeing some of that turn. I do realize the importance of relationships and how that impacts student achievement. And so we are going to definitely continue to work to come up with different strategies to encourage our kids academically and through relationships too. So, and then our final goal was to decrease our top 6 disciplines by 5%. And we are definitely on track to do that, as we are at 6.3%. I am excited that this year when I came in, one of the strategies that we used was to meet with our top 20 disciplines. So we looked at the top 20. And for me, getting freshmen, I met with those families prior to. I established relationships with them. And I will tell you the difference, that first phone call home, when I'd already had an alliance with that family, the difference was amazing. And we have really established a great relationship. We're a team versus I'm the enemy. And I really was able to see that. And I think that as we continue to involve our families, that we will continue to see that decrease, and that is definitely my hope. All right, so looking into next year, I'm thinking that we're going to be keeping our attendance goal for staff. I definitely want to hit that 95%. I'd really like to even see us surpass that. Fail rate, that's going to be a big one. I definitely want 22%. I'd like to see it lower than that, to be quite honest with you. And definitely a big push. And then as far as discipline, I want to continue to see that discipline decline for sure. We are implementing, I know that they had talked about several different things. We did start implementing our recognition postcards just this last semester. And the teachers, I've had a couple come up and say, wow, I had parents at this outing and, you know, different events come up to me and say, wow, you know, I got that card you sent. And I think that sometimes we fail to continue that great thing, that strategy when they get into secondary, but I almost feel like it's more important to recognize the good things. And so not only that, we try to call home with positive things, and I would like to see those positive interactions continue, because I just had a conversation today. I think sometimes the interactions we have or the conversations and the calls are negative. And so when you call and tell a parent, oh, just call and tell you how great your kid is, I mean, it will literally, you know, take the wind out of their sail there, you know, the breath away from them. Sorry, the wrong one. All right, moving on.
You knew what you meant.
I was talking about Pride, so just sharing a few things that we've done. The athlete appreciation dinners have been a huge success. Ton of fun for us. We've had lots of spirit weeks, assemblies. We had an assembly today. Our ACES group is doing well. We have 15 students that will be going to compete. Our theater program has put out some wonderful productions this year. Charlie Brown was magnificent. If you didn't get a chance to see it, laughed out loud several times. It was so fun to see our kids in their element. We had the Missouri Attorney General, Andrew Bailey, coming in to speak to our students. We started volleyball. If you have not come to see a volleyball game, a boys volleyball game, I encourage you to. So much fun. A lot different than girls, so much fun. And today, before I got here, I got to watch our first stunt competition. I mean, I'm like I didn't even know what it involved. But I'm like, wow, you know, I had to go talk to the girls right before I left, and we won our first.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I know, it was Detroit, it was wonderful. Again, you see them in their element. There are so many wonderful things that are happening at Warrenton High School that fill you with pride. Here's some great pictures of kids. We have them at DECA, we have our football team, we have our classrooms, we're dressing up, we're going to the senior citizen home. Some more pictures of our softball, choir, state champions. I mean, really, it's endless. Student Council sponsored our first senior prom. We have our very own Mr. Barton up there in that picture. You know, our football team, of course, had an amazing winning season, making it into the state semi-finalist round. Some great events coming up soon. We have several students that will be attending our Build My Future with Mr. Francis in May. Our Student Council is sponsoring a vendor day at Blackhawk, which I'm excited about. They're going to make videos and all things, and I want to sell us for all the amazing things we are. So I'd like to get all that stuff put on the website so people can really see how amazing our students and staff are. We are going to be hosting boys volleyball districts, I have learned, which is wonderful. We are in full preparation for prom. I'm not sure I could sign any more forms saying that they can have guests. And then, of course, we've got our floriculture sale coming up, so we can all get our flowers and be looking good for summertime. So I'm super excited. So many great things happening there, so many great things to be celebrated.
Any questions?
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you for having me. If I get an opportunity to brag about our building,
Thank you.
I'm doing it.
I would like to comment on everybody together though, that across the board, you all use the word relationships, and I can't express how important that is. And I just wanted you to remind you and compliment you all as well, as that the relationships that you all have as administrators together, that we're all in this together for all the kids, not just Blackhawk, Warrior, or high school or whatever. It's just everybody's together, and the board relationship with you all as well, that we support you and we appreciate everything you guys do. So thank you very much.
I know after hearing all these great
I know, it's
academics, I
fine.
can't wait till they come up to my building.
Yeah, right. Exactly right.
Thank
That's
you.
right. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so just our monthly update, I'll go real quick through this. So revenues are about the same, so 83% in compared to 82 last year. Expenses are almost exactly the same. Fund balance has dropped a little bit, and that's mainly just because we're just spending the money a little bit, but not terrible. So this is our regular chart, so we're a little bit below where we were last year in the green. Now we saw that kind of come together because we kind of missed some special education payments. Those payments should come in, so we should be about the same in April, and then May and June will probably end up a little bit below where we were before. We actually have more money in the bank, we have higher expenses, which makes our fund balance come down. So we just don't have as much, we're not putting as much in the bank as we had in the past. So very healthy, everything's looking good, and I'd expect us in somewhere 37, 38% at the end of the year. So then, just revenues where they're coming in, local is up, which is great. So county is down slightly, state is up, and that's the extra payment from ECSC. Federal is up as well because we had some special education additional catch-up payments come in, so that's going on with the revenues there. March, we are, of course, salaries and benefits are going to be more than last year, and then purchase services are up as well. That's mainly for like SROs. We have full-time SROs this year that we didn't have before, so just some additional expenses there. And then supplies are pretty much the same, but up a little bit. So that's that. And then currently in our Fund 4, we have 1.6 million, and the bond issue we have 8.3 cash right now, but we should have more than that a little bit later, Tom. So, so that's kind of where we're on our cash flow and our bond issue. So that's real quick on the finances.
All right. Next up is the consent agenda. I would entertain a motion. Is everybody awake and with me?
Yes.
This,
We've been receiving
Tom,
a lot.
I think you came to the longest meeting of my 2-year tenure as president, just saying, but sorry.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Deanna. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any discussion?
So on 5.7 is the Renaissance contract. Is that different than the STAR reading assessment, or is that just the other word for it?
That's just the other word. It's the same thing. It's the
Same
company that
company.
issues
Same
it.
company. I
Good
just
question.
know that we don't want to, I know it's the same assessment. I just want to make sure, because I doubt teachers want to relearn.
Right.
another
No
system.
change there. No
Great.
change.
Okay, any other questions before we vote? If not, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Any abstentions?
I abstain.
Thank you, Mr. Schneider. Okay. So now we're here for old business, and the first thing is policy approvals, and we have a whole list. So I'm sure there are some questions and so forth.
So I just have some clarity of wording on policy BB-AP1. So if you want to get to that one, instead of how it says the number of candidates filing at no time exceeded the number of positions to be filled in the election, I'd like to clarify that so it's clear as it can be, to say if the number of candidates filing at one time does not exceed the number of positions to be filed in the election.
To be filled.
And that's in the bottom paragraph of that one.
Yeah,
For no election.
the one that's headed no election.
Yeah, it just could be more clear.
I don't think it changes the meaning or anything, but
Correct.
it maybe is a little bit clearer language.
Yes.
So can you repeat the way you want it to be?
Yes, I would like it to read, If the number of candidates filing at one time does not exceed the number of positions to be filed in the election, then there will be no election, unless the district is also running a ballot issue. Does that make sense?
Everybody okay with that?
I don't,
Makes sense.
no,
No?
no.
Okay.
If the number of candidates filing at one time exceeds,
At one time does not exceed.
does not exceed.
exceed.
Okay, I just wanna double check, cause
Yes.
does not exceed the number, got it.
Mhm.
Great, then I'm fine with it.
I-
I wanna just, like, I'm like.
Totally.
reading
I
and reading.
clarified this a few times. I threw it at Greg, I threw it at Frankie, and I was like,
Right.
No, that's good.
this does make sense, right?
Thank you for saying it 3 times for me.
No problem. The other one that I had a question on was all the JGRs. It doesn't clarify what step means. So I just would like a,
Dr. Ross?
yes, what it's, remember we looked it over at last meeting and it says step, but it didn't say what that.
Oh, the
Acronym.
actual acronym?
Correct,
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
So I would just like the acronym listed so that,
Dr. Ross, you want to tell us the acronym name?
Student Treatment and Education Program,
Okay, we can add that. Everybody,
or therapy, student therapy and, or no, treatment.
Okay.
we'll figure it out and put it on. Yep,
I
sorry.
don't know if we
Yeah.
did that. Whatever it is.
student treatment education
Okay.
program, yes.
Great.
100%.
Yeah, you can probably just put it in the header.
And then my last, I promise, is IGBI. I just wanted to clarify, not any changes to it, but I wanted to state in this meeting that while required verbiage change, this one is regarding parents who may pull their child in homeschool. And it says that the guardians or others who homeschool a child living in the district may provide the district with a written and signed declaration of enrollment. Such declaration should state their intent for the child to attend a homeschool, be provided to the district within 30 days of establishing the homeschool, and be resubmitted annually by September 1. I wanted to emphasize that may portion, which comes straight from the state law. That was all.
Right, so parents don't have to do that. That's really more on the parents to us. Like, we don't spend a lot of resources tracking that down. And once they declare homeschool, we just assume that they're homeschool every year until they re-enroll with us. But if parents would like to, let us know annually, that'd be fine with us. They're allowed to do that.
But they're not required to in any way, shape, or form?
So
The word may is a key phrase here, I
Right.
think.
Yeah,
The way
it's a
it's-
suggestion. It
The way
seems-
that it's reading to me is that if someone does it once, then they should be resubmitting it.
And I think that's a clarification point, is that the word may doesn't require them to. So if it said will, then they would have to, but because it says may, they don't necessarily have to.
Do they have to do that to the state at all?
No,
No.
once they declare homeschool to us, then that's all they have to do. This is really more protection for the parents, what if we would have to come after them for a child educational neglect case or
Exactly.
something like that. They can say that they've turned it in to us. But the district doesn't spend any time or resources verifying anything after they declare homeschool. That's the parents' choice and decisions.
I have a question about the JGR, for you probably, Dr. Ross, the JGR ones. And this has to do with the change that's on the third page about electronic devices on school premises. For grades K through 5 specifically, I believe this paragraph addresses. And it says that students are not to use, it's prohibited during regular school hours, except that the use of these devices in the instructional areas may be approved by the teacher on a limited basis. But then the change comes in where it says, this includes time before school when students are on campus waiting for school to start, and after school when students are on campus waiting for their ride. that after school, I don't understand why we would put that in there. If a student is waiting for a ride and the parent wants to text them and say, I'm going to be late, can you wait in the office? I mean, I know they can call the office, I understand that, but I also think that parents who are providing their kids with a phone, although I don't really think they need a phone when they're in elementary school, but that's my personal opinion. But if they're providing their students with a phone, they probably expect to be able to communicate with them on that device. So what was that came out of a committee, right?
Correct, yeah, so we had our annual discipline committee, and this was, I guess, initiated with our elementary staff participants. And I guess the genesis of this is that the students were beginning to use the phones for not communication purposes. So they were making TikToks and doing things that, you know, as the principals were trying to enforce them to use it in the correct fashion, you know, when they go back to policy and they see that it's, you know, during the school day, that becomes gray. So their request was, you know, to be able to continue those rules and guidelines so long as they're basically under staff supervision, you know, during the school day. Definitely understand your concern though.
Yeah, I mean, the part about before school when they're on campus waiting for school to start, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem during the instructional time at all. But I just, that one kind of hit me as maybe something people would have a problem with. I don't know. What's everybody else think?
I understand your concern. I was at that discipline committee hearing, and the school that brought it to us, it seemed like they couldn't discipline children for using their phones for non-call purposes during that time, and it became hard for them to kind of maintain the environment that they needed for those kids to stay safe and to stay focused and get where they needed to go. And I think that's what they wanted, something so that they could still say, hey, you can't use this right now, and not be outside of what our policy states.
I think that it's ideal for the parents to still be communicating with the school
Yes.
if there's some sort of issue. Because they're the ones who are ultimately responsible for the child until the parent comes. And so, like, I think that it's not ideal for a kid to be running up to the teacher saying, my mom just sent me this and this and that. Like, when the kids, the communication point, it's not helpful to the people who are actually responsible for the child. And I also think that those grades are still learning good use of their phones, and so we know that even adults can have a hard time having self-control and being on the things that they're, you know, that are beneficial, and let alone like photos and videos that can be taken of other elementary students that don't have phones and their parents aren't, like, I just think that I would rather support what they're suggesting.
Me too.
And there is language still in there that says may be approved by the teacher on a limited basis, so that would allow, you know, my mom keeps calling me, okay, we'll go ahead and answer it.
Okay.
You know.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, I just thought it was something that could come up,
Sure.
and I wanted to understand where the thinking was coming from, and you guys have helped me with that. So, and you're right, the teacher could say, go ahead and answer, it's your mom, or, you know.
It gives them that flexibility.
Okay, thank you for going through that with me. Anybody else have any questions or comments about anything?
Did we capture the amendment?
Yeah, do we
Yeah, I've
have
got
the
that.
amendment, are we okay on that?
I do have that, and then we'll just need to make a motion to approve as amended.
Okay,
I'll make a move, or a motion, excuse me, to approve the policies as amended.
okay,
I'll second.
okay, thank you, Carolyn. Any further discussion? I'm looking forward to seeing how this STEP program helps us.
I will be very interested to see, like, if our families choose to
Yes,
Like, that would be interesting.
yes. Anything else before we vote? Okay. All those in favor of the policies as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. All policies are approved. Okay. I told Sarah and Ginger we were gonna roast them now.
Yes, I am ready.
Please do.
Recognition Part 2.
Yeah, this is to exiting board members, two great board members. Appreciate your time and commitment to the Warren County R3 School District, and wish you well in your future endeavors. And Ginger got to lead us during some of the most challenging times we've ever had in the
Yes.
district, I think. So thank you for your leadership there. And Sarah's been such a great champion for all the students and women in the workplace and all the things that we've done. It's been really a pleasure of me to work with both of you, so thank you very much. And so it is customary that you guys get to say a little something if you would like as you leave.
You really
Let me get the camera on. Let me start. I don't want to lose the microphone.
Mike.
No, I'm not going to say much. I am just going to say that it's been an honor and a privilege to serve on the Warren County R3 School Board for the last 9 years and be part of the community effort of improving our schools. And I wish all of you lots of luck and good stuff in the future.
Thank you.
That's it.
I will say that I came here as a student in 2003 as an 8th grader and was able to graduate in Warrenton in 2008. And then coming back as a substitute teacher while my kids were not yet old enough and really getting to immerse myself in the schools as a sub. And then becoming a parent, and now I have 3 kids in the school. And I got on the board when I only had 3 kids, and I now have 5 kids. And so you guys have weathered 2 pregnancies and 2 postpartum.
We all
Sarahs.
survived.
Yes, and so I signed up when Alan Dreyer, who was a board member, he passed away in the fall of 2019. And I remember reading his obituary, and I saw how much he invested into our community, and it really inspired me to want to be someone who just stepped up for the schools and stepped up to serve. And I got enticed because it was a volunteer position, the fact that it was no pay and you were trying to solve problems. That was what drew me to it. And Lori Wenzel talked to me and found out that there was a vacancy. And signing up in December 2019, I had no idea, no one had any idea of what was about to come.
What was about to
Yeah.
fall out of the sky or something.
But I am very grateful to have experienced this. So going from, like I said, a student, a sub, a parent, and now a board member, I have really been able to experience this community, and I'm very proud of the community that we have. I'm very proud of the schools that helped form me and are helping form my children, and I just hope to continue to serve in other ways in our district because I am excited about these next phases and these next steps, and I'm very proud of my fellow board colleagues. It is nice to serve people that have integrity, people that I can trust, and it is nice to know that any of us could disagree with one another and move on for the district, and so it's been a true pleasure serving with all of you, and that is what I will say.
But we do have a little something for both of you who would like to get a picture.
I'd just like to say that I'm thankful we had 2 people step up to file, to take the vacancies, but you 2 will be very much missed by all of us.
Frankie, you want to present these 2?
I can.
I'd like to say thank you as well, though, because I know it was kind of funny that when I got on the board, that Sarah was my mentor, and what an honor that was for me. One of my former students being my mentor. It was fantastic, and to have a shoulder to lean on, and Ginger was the same way. Always a phone call away when necessary, and you guys will be missed, and thank you ladies from the bottom of our hearts and our community's hearts. You guys have been special.
Don't do that. I was just kidding. Thank you. Oh, thank you. It feels heavy.
okay, so I'm gonna chime in. As normal, I'm not a man of many words, so I'll keep it short. But Sarah and Ginger, I met both of you in, I'm gonna call it less than ideal circumstances. As the first time I met you was at one of the board meetings where I was in the audience as a patron commenter, I'll put it that way. I have definitely enjoyed the time with you, and just one thing that sticks out to, from each of you. Sarah was always your level of preparation for the meetings. I admired that, definitely learned from it. That, as presented tonight, right, when we've got that many policies to read through, you can't just come to the board meeting and expect it to happen unless you do preparation. So appreciate that from you. And then Ginger, honestly, your humor always is fun for sure, right? It's fun to laugh all the time. But honestly, one of the main things is probably your experience that you brought to the entire board, especially with your years of education and that experience. Learned a lot from that, and because I don't have that background, so I think that's what makes this board so great and so diverse is just a different perspective. So I appreciate that from both of you.
Thank you. That was very well said, Mr. Man, a few words.
You want your nameplates too?
Yeah.
Can't really reuse those.
You were going to scratch it out.
Yeah. Hey, we gotta save some money somewhere.
Take it to trap shoot.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
And no, you don't need to leave.
Yeah, you don't have to leave, you can stay. Oh, okay, she's just gonna sit in the back row.
But the joy is you get to have the opportunity too, if you want to.
Yeah, that's true.
Your choice.
We're ready for reorganization.
Yes, another exciting time. So our new candidates, would you please come up? And Lucy's going to do the oath of office. So first off, congratulations Keith Harbison and Stephanie Tibbetts, and thank you very much for signing up to be on the board. And we look forward to working with you. I'm going to stand right here and get a picture. And anybody else wants pictures, feel free to come on.
No, you're right there, you're fine. So repeat after me together. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri.
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri.
I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
of school director in and for the Warren County R3 School District.
School Director in and for Warren County R3 School District,
County of Warren,
County of Warren,
State of Missouri,
State of Missouri,
to the best of my ability, according to law.
to the best of my ability according to law.
You guys wait your signature on these, and then,
Yeah.
do you guys want to do pictures first?
Yeah, let's do pictures.
Okay, we'll do that. Oh, okay. You can do it after me, actually.
Okay, let's hold this up.
You guys want one
It's
to
always
go?
awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
All right. That's cool.
No, not yet.
You're good, you're good. All right, next. Congratulations. Okay, so you guys sit
All right,
really well.
come take a seat.
Yeah.
One of the empty
Okay.
seats.
I don't know who's gonna go
I
where.
still need to sign the
I don't
paper
know,
too, don't we?
Stephanie's sitting there, it looks like.
Next to you, Stinky.
Oh, did you really just say that? This could get ugly because he was one of my students in Wright City a very long time ago. And he just called me Stinky, so look out. A very long time ago. Okay.
Well, at this time, I take over the meeting shortly to elect president and vice president, and then from there, we turn it over to the president-elect to go the rest of the way. So at this time, though, I will take nominations for president.
I'll nominate Jeff Snyder for president.
I move that nominations cease.
Sounds great. Now hearing any other nominations, all in favor of Jeff Schneider being president of the Board of Education, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Congratulations, Mr. Schneider. You are now the president of the board. We'll now move on to Vice President. And we'll take nominations for Vice President.
I nominate Deanna Zwires as Vice President.
I'll make a motion to nomination cease.
There we go.
Okay. All in favor of Deanna being Vice President, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Congratulations, Deanna, you are Vice President. And Jeff, I am turning it over to you to finish up the rest of them here.
Good times. We will continue nominations for Secretary.
I nominate Carolyn Spraggs for secretary.
I'll make a motion that nomination cease.
Do we need a second?
No, not
Okay.
for this, I don't think.
Have a nomination for Carolyn Spraggs to be Secretary. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. All right, motion passes. Carolyn is the new Secretary. Moving on to Treasurer. Accept nominations for Treasurer.
I'll nominate Rich Barton for treasurer. And I'll move that nomination cease.
All right, nominations have ceased. We have Rich Barton nominated as treasurer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Rich Barton is our treasurer. All right, Missouri School Board Association delegate, number 1.
I will nominate Stephanie Tebbets.
Do I have a motion to
I'll move that nomination cease.
Thank you.
Motion's been made to cease nominations. Stephanie Tibbetts has been nominated as the Missouri School Board Association delegate. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'll
All
fill
those
you
opposed,
in
same
what that means later.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
She knew it was coming.
And last but not least, we need a Missouri School Board Association delegate alternate. So could I receive nominations for that?
Go ahead, Frankie.
You were gonna nominate me, that's.
Oh, I nominate Frankie for that position.
He used my
I
first
mean, Mrs.
name, that's
Schwartz.
never happened before.
That still sounds weird,
I'll move to nomination cease.
All right. It's been moved that nominations cease. We have one nomination for Frankie Schwartz to be the Missouri School Board Association delegate alternate. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, we have our Board of Officers. Elections are over. All right, moving on to new business. First item of new business that Tom has been sitting here patiently waiting for is authorizing the sale of general obligation bonds. So
That's right, so this would be with the approval from the last April's election to issue bonds for a new school. These are the bonds to pay for those schools. Tom thinks might have a good opportunity to sell now or issue them at this point, so it's a good time as any, I guess, so.
Thank you. And boy, starting off with a bang here. New president, new board members, we're gonna talk about sale of 20 million of bonds.
Yeah.
So.
You're only gonna confuse them a little.
Get their clicker by chance.
Oh, sorry. And this, for those of you that new, this is Tom Zarkowitz from LJ Hart. LJ Hart manages all of our bonding and really debt service programs, so they do a wonderful job, longtime partner with the district, so thanks for all you do. Yep.
Thank you. So, we're talking about the sale of 20 million of bonds. We sold 9.5 last year. We're thinking of 20 million this year, and then the remainder will be in 2026. We're trying to line the funding for the new elementary school, because once you sell the bonds, you start paying interest on them. And so we're just trying to reduce that interest expense and spread that out, as opposed to selling everything at once. So my original plan was to come here with investors lined up for board approval, but there's been quite a bit of volatility in the market, and I'll get to that momentarily. So I've pulled back, and so what I have for you tonight is a parameters resolution. And so this would authorize board president, superintendent, and LJ Hart to lock in the financing once the investors are in place within certain parameters, and we'll get to that momentarily. So leading up to tonight, we have been in contact with Standard & Poor's Corporation, and they have assigned an A+ rating to the bonds, similar to last year. And then you also have a AA+ rating through the state, which is part of the direct deposit program. So both of those combined make the bonds very attractive to investors. So looking at the numbers, click through here. Okay, so looking just briefly what interest rates have been doing, the green line represents this is the municipal market data AAA rated yield curve. So this is a national average of what municipal bonds are paying to investors in terms of interest rates, starting on the left-hand side 1 year out all the way to 30 years. So the green line was at the beginning of this year. And then the blue line was at the end of the first quarter, March 31st. So we saw short-term rates drop a little bit, but then long-term rates started to creep up on us. And then last week when I called Dr. Klingon-Smith and said, can I get on the agenda, the yellow line, because rates dropped significantly. And I thought, well, boy, this is going to be a really good time to sell the bonds. Well, as of yesterday, the red line, it jumped up significantly. Now, rates dropped about 0.5% today, and I'm hopeful that they will continue to move that direction as a lot of the talk starts to settle in, and we figure out what we're going to do with tariffs and whatnot. But it's my hope that maybe first part of next week or middle of next week we can actually market these bonds. But we'll just kind of play it by ear. This is just a history of the financings with your district. I'm going to skip over that. So the proposed structure of the bonds, these are going to be longer dated maturities starting in 2036 and go out to 2044. And when we put all your debt together, it'll blend. So you already have bonds that you're paying on in the shorter term, okay? We're thinking a 5% coupon with the yield slightly less than that, ranging from 4.3 to 4.74%. But we'll just see how that all pans out. The average yield, we think is going to be around 4.74, 4.75%. Now, if you look towards the bottom of that page, so what we would do is sell 20 million of bonds. We're thinking a reoffering premium of about $218,000, meaning the investors will actually pay you a little bit more to get that 5% coupon, but their rate of return is less. That'll give you total funding of about $20.2 million, and then the total cost of issuance of $226,000. So it gets you right around the $20 million of total funding when we deliver the proceeds. Looking at your cash flow analysis in the debt service fund, so this fund can only be used to repay bonds. And so the green shaded column is the total revenue by fiscal year. And we are assuming a bump in assessed valuation this year, about 7.5%. Yeah, 2025, about 7.5%. But then we cut that back to 2.5% thereafter. The red shaded column in the middle is the projected balance in the debt service account as of June 30th each year. And then the blue column are the total fiscal year payments of all your debt put together plus the $21 million. So you can see that your payments are just shy of $3 million until you get down to 2033, and then they graduate a little bit with growth and assessed valuation. You should be able to cover those payments. But most importantly, when we look at that middle column, the projected balance in the debt service account, you can see how that grows. You have about 1 year's worth of payment in reserve, and that's about where you want to be. But with that growth, those balances growing, that gives us the capacity to issue the remaining bonds and keeping your debt service levy where it's at. As we told the taxpayers, it was a no tax rate increase measure. I know that was brief, but any questions on structure of the bonds, cash flow, anything of that nature? So the resolution, that's part of, I don't know if you need to pull this up, but part of your packet. So again, that would authorize the board president, superintendent, and LJ Hart to lock in the financing. I have an average yield of 4.74. This has a ceiling of 5.5%. If rates just continue to climb and we want to lock in, that does give us some flexibility to still do that. Again, my expectation is I think we'll be below 5%. And then as far as negotiating the call feature, which allows you to pay the bonds off early, I'm gonna start with a 5-year call feature like we normally do, but if I have to adjust that to maybe 6 or 7 years, we can do that as well. Any questions?
I guess I have a question as you're talking about the volatility of the market right now. If we approve the sale tonight and we're kind of waiting to see what the market does, do we have an expiration on our approval?
No, there isn't.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're just approving to go forward,
Mhm.
but the actual timing is open.
Okay.
Now, one other thing we gotta think with that, I'm thinking about is, we just, we're past the election on Tuesday. We have LJ Hart has about 40 bond issues that we're working on, and there's other underwriters out there. So there's a part of me that wants to get these out there before there's a flood of activity.
Yeah.
But I don't wanna force it with the market volatility.
And at the same time, we do have to watch our cash flow. So
Right.
when we don't have money to pay our contractors, that's a problem.
Right.
So that is kind of our deadline. It's like when we run out of money. And those bills will start increasing as we get more into the project.
But this gives you three guys the chance to make that decision when necessary.
Correct.
We're ready for a motion or what?
I can do the motion.
I'd like to.
Yeah.
You want
I
to
was
read that
saying
whole
I
thing?
do.
You have to read it.
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
You guys are on it.
I'll make a motion for a resolution for authorizing and directing the issuance and delivery of not to exceed $20 million principal amount of general obligation bonds, Missouri Direct Deposit Program, Series 2025 of Warren County R3 School District, Missouri, prescribing the form and details of said bonds, providing for the levy and collection of an annual tax for the purpose of paying the principal of and interest on the bonds as they become due, authorizing the district to participate in a direct deposit program and administered by the Health and Educational Facilities Authority of the State of Missouri to support payment of the bonds, authorizing the establishment of final terms committee and fixing the time when this resolution shall become effective.
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second for the resolution of authorizing the issuance of the $20 million principal of bonds as described on the screen for everyone to see. I'm not going to read it again. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes.
All right, thank you.
Do you need signatures tonight?
No. Well, we'll have a stack of legal documents when it's all finalized.
Tom, I appreciate you looking at all the moving parts and pieces
Yes.
and doing your best for our
Yes, we all
district.
Oh, thank you very much.
And thank you for your patience tonight.
Oh, no.
And you make it easy to understand too, I like that.
All right, second order of new business is change order number 1 for the new elementary school. Probably one of many to come.
Yeah, we'll have a few of these. We do have a balance in 4 change orders of $500,000 in our budget now for it. Our goal is not to have these, but things do change. In this particular case, we have a fire code that's recommended that we're upgraded to, that changes the doors we have to install. And so this is just a change to be up to that new code. And one thing I kind of would like to discuss, and $14,000 isn't very much. So we're gonna have another change order for a new sign, for new exit sign that wasn't in the drawings. I plan on just bringing these to you for just really just transparency more than anything. A highly visible project like this, I just want to make sure everybody's aware, even the small stuff. Is that still the direction that we want to go with that?
Yes. I think that's good.
Okay.
Yes.
I like that.
Might slow some things down, just needing approval before we go, but I can't imagine it'd be too badly. So we might need, like, if we have something emergency, or
Right,
like,
yeah,
hey,
emergency.
we might have to do a quick meeting to get that approved, but that'll be kind of our process moving forward.
Could I ask that whenever we bring change orders, we also include what our change order percentage is at that time?
Oh, yeah,
So
how
we
much
can
we've
stay
used on it? Yeah, for sure. That's a great
that would be
idea.
great.
That way we
Yeah.
can
Help
keep
us
a
keep
tally
on
of
top.
that
Yeah,
as
so
we,
here's 500,000, we spent 14.5, now we have this amount left.
yes.
Right, for sure,
That'd be awesome.
for sure.
Oh, that's a mathematician's dream.
Yeah,
He's good at that stuff.
well, yeah, we'll just keep it
I
running
like
tally.
statistics.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, great idea. I'll make a motion to approve the change order as presented.
Thank you, Rich.
I'll second.
Right.
Haven't gotten to do that lately.
I have one
I
question.
know.
Are the are the walls at the proper level? You know, if you're changing the doors, but we already have the walls at the proper fire safety level.
Right. My understanding is that the walls, you had to have 2 walls for a firewall.
Okay.
And you could attach a door to one side. And if that side falls, well, you just have a big opening for this. So now they are asking for basically wider doors to attach to both sides of the wall. And so if one wall would fall, the door, in theory, would stay up when it's connected to the other side of the wall.
Okay.
And so it's really just bigger doors. And Frankie's that you're saying as well.
It's not bigger doors, but there's a connection between the 2 walls that the doors are built into. And so
Okay.
the doors, no matter which wall would be compromised, the doors should stay with the other wall because of the way it's constructed. There's like an apron or something across the top
Yeah,
that
it's a change in
holds
the door,
them
yeah.
in place.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm all for safety. I was a fire wife for 6 years, so I
Right.
totally get that, but just wanted to clarify.
All right. We have a motion and a second to approve the change order as presented. Is there any further discussion or questions? All right, all those in favor of approving the motion as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, final order of new business, new cabling at the high school.
Sure, and this is so for communication between like the office and the classroom. You know, we've been working on our bell systems and our communication systems in all of our buildings this year. And this particular, we got to the high school and they realized the wire only has 2 connectors instead of 4, and it needs 4 to be able to have a call button on the wall, which they don't currently have. And so the recommendation would be to add that call button so they can just, in an emergency, can press that and automatically get to it. Right now, they have to walk over to their phone. They'll still be able to use that phone if they want to be discreet about calling a student down. But I think it'd be good if we could be consistent across all our buildings and our communication systems and go ahead and have that call button. And we would just budget this for next year's budget. And I think it'd be what we should do.
So do we only have one estimate?
This is basically a change order with our current company that we're working with.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right, and we did look into doing it ourselves, but we couldn't do it that cheaply. I thought, what if we just have summer help come in and do it, put the wires in, and this is a pretty good price. So we're comfortable with this essential change order.
So is this being done after hours or during?
Yeah, they're doing it after hours, and this project here will probably be done in the summertime. But right now, they're working on our Mondays and after school and trying to not disrupt school as much as possible. Well, anytime we're messing with the bells, though, sometimes they're wrong. One thing we did learn is we can actually talk to different buildings because Dr. Goldsmith ended up at the high school making announcements during 1 hour, so for Daniel Boone. So there are I can't say there's no disruptions to school, but there are some. But it will be nice. But from a safety perspective, we do believe that once we get everybody on the same system, we'll be able to do something from central office. Let's say there's a tornado, we can tell everybody to take shelter, or all clear a lot of times is a big
That would
question.
be nice.
So that'd be really a neat feature once we can kind of get it all done.
When did you say the work is expected to start?
This will have to be done this summertime.
This summer or?
This
next
summer.
Any other questions? Anybody want to make a motion?
I move to approve the estimate as presented.
Frankie?
I'll say.
Thanks, Deanna. There's a motion and a second to approve the estimate as presented. Any further discussion? All right, no discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Policy first read, so not as many as this month. We only have 2 for next.
That's right. These are come from our negotiated agreement when we talked about blackout dates. This highlights all of our holidays that just the facilities are closed, can't be rented. These are truly days off for all of our staff. So,
Right, maybe for the new board members, the policy first reads are basically just bringing up policies that we will discuss next month and vote on next month, whether to approve or amend. So we bring them up, but there's really no action needed tonight. It's just to call them out so that sometime over the next month you have a chance to look over them. All right, we'll move on to.
Okay. She's already read them, yes.
You are on top.
It's okay.
No, you're good. Perfect. So miscellaneous, moving on to celebrations. What type of celebrations do we have to talk about?
Well, a lot of the ones that I was gonna say have already been mentioned tonight, but I do want to touch base on them again. She had talked about the picture of Heidi and I at the senior prom. What a cool event that was. And it wasn't well attended this year, but I know that they get the word out more and more and more. But the folks that were there had an absolute great time, and the kids were phenomenal. I mean, they were dancing with, because a lot of ladies came together, and the high school boys danced with them, and then they had you, when you went into the, when you got there, they had you give them your wedding song. They played your wedding song special just for your dance at the prom. And then the jazz band came and played for about an hour, hour and a half, and they fed us, and it was just a great, great evening. And they got us home by 8 o'clock because everybody was a little different than the senior. Mrs. Petersbauer was kind of going around asking who was hosting the after prom party, but we all decided we were declining and going home. So, but that was all. It was a good time by all. They mentioned stunt tonight, and we didn't know it, but they won their first match tonight. How about that? Congratulations to Coach Philippek and her girls. Boys volleyball, we've been talking about that all day. They won their third game last night against Hickman out of Columbia, and so super exciting. Mrs. Stuckoff talked about how exciting it is. It really is. The play, Charlie Brown, I laughed.
It was good.
It was absolutely,
Yes.
it's just great seeing those kids and all the variety of kids that get to be a part of that. And she had talked about Mr. Shaw's ACES group. And I'm not going to name the kids because I read them in the paper today. There's like 15 kids going to the state competition, and that's a really, really, really. Alice Briggs was here tonight, and I know she's a part of that too. So what a great group of kids that is representing our school at the state level. So that's awesome. Congratulations to all of them.
Can I celebrate the fact that I don't have to be in charge of meetings anymore?
I also wanted to celebrate, Daniel Boone Elementary invited us out for the Wax Museum, and I know I saw a few of our board members there.
Rebecca Boone.
Oh, it was Rebecca Boone.
It
You're
was
right.
Rebecca Boone.
Rebecca Boone. And the students
it was
were
Rebecca.
doing awesome jobs.
Mhm.
Like, it was really cool to see what they had memorized and prepared and brought. So that was awesome. And also we did Read Across America week and got to go visit a couple different classrooms. So that was a lot of fun. Very rewarding reading to the kids. One classroom just loved it, and we ended up reading 3 books together. So it was a bundle of fun.
And I just got a text from my wife that she just got home from the stunt, and she said, that was fun.
Loved it.
Any others? Okay, those are fun. Lots of cool things happening in the school
Lots of
district, so
great things.
that's fun. Workshop topics, we've got the dates pretty much just kind of listed out through the year, and you can see we've got some that are somewhat set. I think these are all kind of up in the air for when they can be, except maybe the tax rate hearing, but and then the conference obviously is set, but I don't know if there's one. Do we need any discussion around work session topics? I guess maybe again for new board members, I told you it was once a month meeting. That's not right. It's actually twice a month.
But not always.
Not always. Sometimes.
Yeah, we just put those on just to pencil in. So, I mean, again, we don't have to meet this April. If we don't want to, we can meet in May. No, but at some point we do need to hit school board goals.
Right.
At the end of June, we will have to meet to approve the budget. I mean, we could even push it all the way back to then if you wanted to, but, you know, it's really up to you guys.
I'd like to keep it April, but that's just
You want to keep it in April?
I'd rather do it in April than May.
Okay.
Does that not work for you?
Yeah, the workshops start at 5, is that okay?
Yeah, instead of starting at 6, it'll be 5 p.m.
It's 5 too early.
What day of the week is that?
They're on
They're Thursdays.
Thursdays.
Everything's
just
a
like-
Thursday.
Just,
That should be fine.
it's 2 weeks from the regular board
That should be
meeting.
fine.
And we can set them at any time that works for you.
And
These are.
He says he can make it work, so
Be in a work.
you might be in a work heat.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I was just
Yes.
making sure.
All right.
That's not a
Yeah,
problem.
they're generally the
Is
fourth
that okay, Stephanie?
Thursday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
That would be the only one that I would maybe also show up in work uniform.
Yeah.
Other than that, I can
But
always schedule.
Come as you are.
We
We're just
don't
happy you're here.
mind,
Yeah.
yes. No, you're kidding.
All right.
It's so fly.
Well, we will keep the April 24th with at least school board goals on the agenda. maybe more by the time we get there. All right. Could I have a motion to set the next regular meeting?
I make a motion to set the next regular Board of Education meeting to be on May 8th, 2025.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
All right. Motion made and seconded to set the next regular Board of Education meeting for May 8th, 2025. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
I move to set the next closed session to immediately precede the May 8th regular board meeting.
Motion and a second to set the next closed session to immediately proceed regular May 8th meeting 2025. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
I can't have this one, Frankie.
I know.
Get it?
Last motion of the night.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're adjourned.
That's it.
Good meeting.
Okay.